be with you." Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." He showed them his hands and his side, and then the disciples rejoiced. However, Thomas wasn't there. When the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord," Thomas wasn't convinced. So the following Sunday, this Sunday, the 8th day of the resurrection, Jesus came again and challenged Thomas. Apparently, without touching those wounds, Thomas uttered the Bible's highest praise of Jesus, the beautiful phrase, "My Lord and my God." Thomas moves from doubt to belief. The Gospel of John records several reactions to the risen Christ. Thomas believed when he saw the wounds. On Easter, the beloved disciple John believed when he saw the garments abandoned in the tomb. Mary Magdalene believed when Jesus, the risen Christ, called her name and she saw him. The disciples believed when they saw the risen Christ in the locked room. But the gospel writer goes on to challenge other followers, then and now, to react in belief without seeing. It needs to be said that the Gospel of John was written in 95 AD or thereafter. The evangelist himself has not seen, nor have his contemporary readers. Too much time has passed by, and the eyewitnesses have passed on. And he is writing for the future, where we will not have seen, at least not have seen directly. We do see indirectly. We see the risen Christ with our hearts and minds. And also, we see his presence revealed in the actions and the lives of his followers. "As the Father has sent me, so I send you." Jesus' followers are to be his presence, his hands, his feet, his voice in the world. Today's Christians, you and I, represent Jesus to those around us. And though we are imperfect messengers, we carry on. It is our responsibility. Our responsibility as doubters and believers. Yes, doubters and believers. Our ideas, our reflections reveal the curious, complex, and healthy relationship of doubt and belief. In the person of Thomas himself, like us, the interweaving, the interplay of doubt and belief is shown. Let's look closely and separately, initially, at doubt and belief. And I think you probably have guessed by now that, ooh, Dick's here, I have a romance with words. First, belief. In the 4th century, St. Jerome translated the New Testament from Greek to Latin. Jerome used the Latin verb credo, from cor do, I give my heart, in translating any verbs where loyalty and faithfulness were to be expressed. Much later, in 1611, the English translation of the Bible, the King James Version, took that word credo and translated it to I believe. The word believe was derived from Middle English, believen, to hold dear, which in turn was rooted in the German belieben, to love. As the concept of knowledge and reason flourished and developed about 100 years later, belief took on the aspect of intellectual activity. Yet belief for me, and probably for you, is not merely a set of facts or tenets, but also, maybe more so, a fullness of love and devotion. Belief can feel like my heart is bursting. Belief is complicated, of course, because we are trying to describe the indescribable. The 19th century Roman Catholic poet Francis Thompson provides these helpful lines to describe belief. O world invisible, we view thee. O world intangible, we touch thee. O world unknowable, we know thee. How would you describe belief, your sense of belief? Well, now let's look at doubt. Doubt's a lot of fun. Doubt comes from the Latin word dubitare, D-U-B-I-T-A-R-E, meaning to be of two minds, to question. In English, in the 13th century, the noun was doute, D-O-U-T-E, exactly the same as the French word from which it was borrowed. So you might ask, if you were me, who put the silent B in doubt? Well, linguistic detectives have tracked that down to the 14th century, where Welsh monks in a Welsh monastery, transcribers, were apparently eager to reconnect with the Latin ancestor dubitare. It's interesting that there are only 3 words in English that begin with D-O-U-B. They are double, doublet, and doubt. Double, as we all know, means two, as in seeing double, double agent, or double chin. A doublet means 2 words of a similar etymology, or it can mean an Elizabethan shirt. But unless fashions change, I think we can kind of forget about that. So doubt is clearly related to two, thus being of 2 minds. Quite apart from its literal definition, what does doubt mean to you? How does doubt feel? Okay, well, linguistics helps us to get at root meanings of doubt and belief, but language can never do more than to point to what is in our hearts and minds. Our words point to the wonders, the depths, the heights that they seek to describe. Our statements will always be inadequate because we are exploring nothing less than the mystery of God. So let's think about doubt and belief living peacefully together. Our Anglican Church encourages us to give voice to doubt in matters of faith. For us, doubt is not the enemy of faith. Doubt is not disbelief. To doubt is not to deny, but to search. It is an integral part of our belief journey. Think about it. You can't doubt nothing. You have to have something to doubt, and that something is belief. And with apologies to Socrates, the unexamined belief is not worth believing. We can be at peace with our doubts. Now, in describing our life path, our journey, we may be tempted to label a time of doubt as a step backwards. But I think our doubts are really steps forward to renewed understanding, to freshness, to new strengths. Doubt and belief are therefore equally results of our prayer and study, our meditations and experiences. Barbara Brown Taylor, the well-known Episcopal preacher and author, writes, "The good news is that dark and light, faith and doubt, divine absence and presence do not exist at opposite poles. Instead, they exist with and within each other, like distinct waves that roll out of the same ocean and roll back into it again." Here in Rhode Island, cradled between the bay and the ocean, we encounter the vast sea. When we doubt or believe, we encounter the vastness of God. And it's interesting that while walking on the beach or sitting on the seawall, that is often where we make our best prayers. Some days, my belief is firm and vibrant. God loves me. Jesus is beside me. Of course, being a good Episcopalian, I don't mention this to many people. But it fills my head and my heart. My inner self is shouting, "My Lord and my God." Other days, not so much. But I am comfortable with all those days. Doubts and questions will come and go. I am assured, peace be with you. Jesus stood among the disciples as the living Christ stands among us, doubters, believers, and seekers all. And he says again, peace be with you. Amen.
Amen.